Hello, welcome. I'm Ren Farnell. I'm a tech designer at UX is Fine, and we are building a game, and this is the day 12. We're currently on the content grind. We're working through creating a bunch of levels for this game. We've got most of our core mechanics down. There's actually a few things that I need to change since recent design changes. So I need to look into that today and actually get our core loop fixed and then get a build done. So I'm going to update some of my to-do list. Just going to open it up, close it down, move it. All right, there we go. Okay, let's make sure this is all aligned nicely. Okay. So looking at the list, we had the stuck in a teleport desk bug, and that was caused by interacting with it at the back, so that's done. We're teleporting before the level is shown. I fixed that. We were doing some normal rooms, and I need to go finish that today, I think. Disable the visited rooms. I really need to finish that. Yeah, and this UI, disable visited rooms, that relates to the UI that we have at the start of the game. Adding doors to hallways, I would like to get that done, and Steam achievements, which Steam achievements will do soon as well. But currently we're at the state where we have started producing more levels. So this is one of the levels, just as a quick recap. This is the suburban level where we'll talk a little bit about how AI has got these people evicted from their homes. So it's the concept that in this particular facility, it's all about productivity, and the people were trapped here in this continuous productivity cycle in other rooms, right? So in rooms that were more about just testing productivity in various situations, and they're all empty now. It's all very liminal and empty, and you're there kind of discovering why this place is empty. And the fact is that the ultimate productivity was this AGI that they had developed, and so little spoilers for the story there. But I'm going to be building some of these rooms out today, hopefully as well. I would like to make some progress on that, and some of the rooms are more anomalous. So these kind of rooms where it's like, what's productivity like in a remote sense? And so we'll have notes in this level that talk about remote work. We have some other levels that we've created recently. So let's just take a quick browse through our recent levels. So we had this fisherman hut. Here we're going to talk about fishing for ideas. So the concept of I'm going to basically get AI to produce a bunch of really loose games, like short game design core loops, and have them dotted around in the water, and you can basically walk through the water and pick them up, do a little bit of fishing. We actually added some sounds to this yesterday, so let's take a quick look at that. I'm gonna turn the music down a second. Let's get this game audio turned up. So we have off stream I added a bunch of sounds to the game just to make sure that everything is sorted. I also added some splash effects to landing in the water. I think I updated the escape screen, so this is a bit more legible now. I do need to set the bold on. Yeah, so UI bold selected text style. It's a little bit hard to see. So if I escape from that. Okay, so in the water, what do we have? We have some sort of wading sounds. And then if we fall in the water, we get this little splash, little sound of a splash. It's pretty cool. So that's the fishing room, and we'll have some lore in there. We've already looked at the suburban room. We've got this desert room. It's got our little stomps. We've also set up the video settings so that on low graphics we basically reduce the lumen complexity, which means we still get We still get lumen, which is good, but we've reduced all of the complexity of textures and the distance at which it renders lumen. So you can see there are some artifacts, but since it's a liminal style game, it's probably stick some filters in there and it'll be fine. I'm going to go back to high. And even then it's not at 100% resolution. But we're at a place where if we look at our stat GPU, we're like 2 ms, 3 ms, which is okay. If we take a look at our stat unit, our general frame time is like 8 ms, so we're like 120 frames or something like that. Stat FPS here, 120. I'm going to cook this today, so we'll see how that translates to the actual complete. Okay, so then we have anomaly 4, which is this sort of like worship, or I've got this kind of like pious undertone in some of the anomaly levels. The background's going crazy now. Not great. Might need to look into that. I mean, what if I go to video graphics epic? It does it a little bit less. Wonder if I can reduce the number of bounces to like 1. So I think it's attempting to duplicate it. I also might want to hide the character's body, because we're getting some weird artifacts on the character's body there, even if we're looking up and down. So yeah, okay, so we have these, this is PCG driven. So I built this in PCG, and it can, got a couple of controls. Let's have a look at the PCG component here. You can change the meshes that are drawn on here, so you can be like their keyboards instead of mice. And I'll do a couple of different rooms, and then you've got some gradient scales that you can play with for the actual room. Then we've got anomaly 5. I'm not going to save anything there. This one I'm not happy with, and I do want to change this to sort of an observation deck maybe, where you kind of look in. Did reduce the number of lights to originally it had no lights, but now it has some lights. We have, what else have we got here? We need to actually put the OPA signs on all the screens, so let's write that. UI OPA graphic on screens and menus. Let's make sure that we do that on our to-do list. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to quickly go and do the change to the UI that I mentioned. So, audio settings, common UI, not great there. UI here, styles maybe. So this button text selected here, I believe this is the one that I'll want to make bold. There might be some other selected styles in here, so we'll just double check. We've got navigation tab selected, so we'll just make that bold. Let's have a look at that quickly. A little bit easier to read, but it's still not quite, it's not super legible. I've also got an issue here where it's actually not filling the screen, so I need to take a look into that. But the these bold styles aren't bold enough. Do have this rule text. Let's try that. Actually smaller, so that's no good. Here, let's try size 14 and just see if that helps. This not correct. That's better, I think, yeah. So again, just more legible. Still styled to be sort of a true-y looking UI. Okay, so bold text styles, that's better. Let's get the escape screen not filling the screen. So settings WVP, which isn't the usual naming that I go for. What we can do here is, if we scale it down, you can see how this isn't filling the screen here. So we just set this to full. That's still not fully aligned. Now that's fully aligned, cool. So on an ultra wide, we can just test a quick, like, how does that look? Another thing that we had was that the internal screens, like say on the video page, they were actually scrolling when your mouse moved. And so one thing I found in, I think it was in the page content, there's a scroll box here, and it had a navigation scroll padding set to 100. And so what would happen is as you hit an element, it would want to scroll the element that you hovered up to a line around 100 units up, which meant that you would hover a new element. And so as you scroll to the bottom, it would actually automatically scroll you down, which is really cool, but also kind of really annoying. So I fixed that by turning the scroll padding to 0. And so now we have a screen here that actually fills the full space now, which is much nicer. So that's fixed. Okay, so next up on the list, we do have this OPA graphic that we want to add to all the screens, and I would like to go ahead and get that working. So I'm going to go and pull those out real quick. Alrighty, so I have Figma here. I'm just going to go and check out some assets. Just bought these. Struggling to find my work folders, UI exports, we'll call this OPA, logo OPA. Okay, so I'll pop that open in Photoshop quickly because I would like to do some fun things with it. New, actually open. Working UI exports, should have the OPA logo in here. Okay, so this is the OPA logo. Yeah, got it. Okay. What I want to do is grab technically want to grab this. I wanted to stick this on a layer that I could actually move, and so might not work though. Might be better to use a circle. So let's say this was layered by cut, and this potentially moves, but again, no, that doesn't really work. So I'd have to move like an inner circle. The idea was to try and make that eye follow you, but for now we don't have the ability to do that, so I'm going to export a different asset, logo underscore OPA underscore 2. Just open that. Okay. Overlay this in white so I can just export it straight to the engine and color it in there if I need to, which I don't think I do need to. Interestingly, I guess because this is partially transparent, it's actually come in transparent as well. Partially transparent? Can't really tell. Yeah. Okay, so file, export this, shove this in working files. Okay, so we're going to import that in for our UI graphics. We'll do Office Rooms UI logo. Just import to the current folder. We'll just go to UI exports, APA final, and apply the UI settings to this. Okay, so I have this cool little logo. How big is this? Yeah, it's not too big. Okay, and then we're going to get it onto this screen. So let's take a look at monitor. We have this TV screen here. Gonna copy this over to our logo. Logo, copy here. Okay. Let's take a look at the parent. It's just simple color. Steal that. Okay, let's name this M underscore. It's just going to be a typical. Call it OPA screen. I don't know. I haven't made a master shader yet. I do need to make a master shader. We're making some textures. Yeah, man, we're making some textures. We're playing with this OPA, the Offices of Productivity Analysis asset quickly, and then we're going to do some rooms. We're going to also do some core loop, which I'm going to get back. I'm actually going to get the core loop updated first because I have changed some of the design elements of how it works, and I need to have a think about how to make that user experience fluid and understandable. It still needs to be mysterious, and it still needs to have the player sort of asking like, what's going on, what does this mean, and slowly understand the story that's unfolding. But yeah, it's going to be something. Is that like an offshoot of Musk's Doge department? What is it the most similar to? I had a thought about this the other day. I can't remember, but there is a good reference for who this company kind of is, I guess. But I have come up with sort of the deep lore. And so one of the things that you'll discover throughout this is that an AGI has been developed, which is the most productive thing in the Offices of Productivity Analysis, and so that's why the entire place is empty. And so you'll discover that throughout the story, and we'll have some interesting exposition or some extracts about how that is the reason no one is around. So I'm going to call this mi_opa screen, and that just allows us to do some work on these assets. Now this SM monitor wide, I actually need to go and update this in our PCG level, in our PCG prep level. So PCG levels, we got the prep for the lit desk. We've done a little bit of UI work today as well. Yeah, maybe GPT-6 gonna take over the world. Well, yeah, it's a story, and I'm gonna see where I can go with it. It's just this common fear right now, and I haven't seen a game that kind of has fun with that. Okay, so we got the OPA screen. We got the OPA. Wait, have I spelled that wrong? I have spelled it wrong. Shame on me. Right, got the OPA screen here. Can probably get I could probably turn this into a master shader. AO, why is there no AO? I don't know why. So we have this base color, but we also want this texture sample. So let's go convert to parameter texture. We'll multiply this by tint. We could just call it color. This just needs to have a base asset in it, so we'll use the default white grid low. As far as I know, it's a tiny little white material. Okay, so this is going to be in there, but we're going to need to multiply the UVs. In fact, we'll have to scale it by center. And then we'll have an append vector, and we'll have X scale and Y scale. Although it should be U scale, V scale, I suppose. Just have 1, 1. Stick that in there. Okay. And so now over here, I just pick our OPA. Fine. We are actually going to have to add this. We'll call this logo color, which is going to be white. We'll have this added to the screen color. You have an emissive color on here as well. Might play with that. Screen color for now. I'm gonna I'm just gonna make it dark. Okay. If we look at this, not getting what we wanted. This is because we're adding a flat white texture over the top rather than lerping via the alpha. So we'll lerp by the alpha, and we'll say when this is 0, it's this, and when it's 1, it's this logo color, and that can go into our base color. So now we start to get something. A screen color isn't what I was going to expect here. Here we go. And then if we scale this down, we also need to set this to not wrap, or we could wrap it. It kind of looks funny being wrapped. Also need to check it on the actual screen itself. Of course that material is sideways. Why wouldn't it be sideways? So then we just need to stick a rotator, custom rotator. We'll do part divided by the whole here, so we'll just call this angle, or logo angle. It'll be minus 90 degrees, and that goes into we'll rotate after, maybe. Rotation center is just 0.5, 0.5, that's fine, we'll plug that in there. Alright, so whoop. Case now of playing with the scaling. Another thing that I want to do is make this material here not wrap. So we'll have clamps on here. So this screen actually has the UVs for this in a weird way, I think. So if I go into the modeling tools and do a UV edit on this screen and just say UV editor, you can see here that it's pulling. Take this. Okay. So if I select these assets, then I want to move them, scale them, and rotate them. It is also messing with the inside. Can I cut it? I can island it. Give a triangle selection, make the selection into a separate island. I have some kind of setting on at the moment. Island selection. I don't want that. I just want triangle selection. So yeah, these two triangles. If I island that and then rotate that, cool. Because we're not doing anything with. Whoops. We're not doing anything with baked illumination, so the UV map in this case is just going to be separate, because this is on a separate material ID. I'm just going to do this as square as I can. In fact, can I just say sure, pack. Yeah, cool. So it's packed now. I don't want to. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. I kind of want to select the vertices. This is just me being a little bit particular about keeping it aligned to the grid here. I mean, it's still not perfect because I'm just doing it by eye rather than knowing the tool in order to snap it properly. Like, I would like an option to pack just these two faces. In fact, if I do triangle selection and select these two and then pack that and accept it, maybe that. Still not quite done it. But now we should have at least one of the assets has unapplied changes. Would you like to apply them? Yes. Okay, so now we have the OPA and we don't need to rotate it by 90 degrees. That's the Offices of Productivity Analysis, and now when we scale it in, we get problem caused by the alpha touching the edge of our space here. So an easy way to solve this is to just go into the pixels and just add, let's just make this 1024 by 1, make it 1024 by 128. And then I'm going to play with seed. Forgot that we've got 2 of these. Do that, file, export that. Now we can re-import this asset. And then we just play with the variables that I created previously. I think it's something like this in the original design. Yeah, cool. So all the OPA screens are this sort of blue color. Now, I do need to go and take a look at like liminal color palettes for found footage. So like this off green, for example, is a nice vibe. So I might go for liminal retro PC UI. Liminal PC UI. Liminal computer. The oh, that color there, that was awesome. Where did it go? That color there, that's the color I want. So just color pick that. Maybe just mess with it a bit to get it a little bit more awful. Yeah, that's that is the color of old computers, I feel like. And something else that I need to do is maybe apply some effects to this monitor to just make it feel a little more screeny, I suppose. Either way, let's take this and let's get this level re-exported as our PCG. Asset actions, create PCG from this. It's the lit desk, so we'll save that. Let's go over to, in fact, let's grab this monitor by default and just change this to OPA. OPA screen. So we've re-exported the PCG asset, that's fine. I want to go to the single lit desk and just make sure that this is also exported. Things are moved. Let's just make sure that we're awkwardly half-centered in the middle there. Save that. Go back and file, asset actions, create PCG, single desk. And over in our desert laptop room, let's try and make this screen the OPA screen. Yeah, so again, that hasn't worked on this one, and what I'm going to do is a similar process where I just go into the modeling tool, go to the UVs, go into the UV editor, and we're going to grab, do island selection, and we're going to grab this, this, and this. Okay. Sorry, not island selection, triangle selection, this and this. We're going to island that, and then it does look like it's already sideways, so it needs to be rotated by 90 degrees. Let's make sure that we've got some rotation snapping. And then Accept that. Just move it down. Scale it up. Cool. Hopefully. Mostly cool. Why hasn't that worked? I wonder. Looks like there's actually two layers going on here. No, what I actually just did was edit the glass. Yep. Okay. So yeah, there's actually a glass panel over the front of that. Okay, so that's that one updated. Just gonna make sure that's re-exported. Asset actions. Create PCG, desert desk here. Save that out. Awesome. Okay, now if I go to the anomaly levels to just refresh them quickly. So dungeon, anomaly rooms, M_anomaly01. Do you want to save the laptop? Yes. Okay, so we have a laptop in here. I'll find it there. That actually hasn't updated. So what is that? That's the interact desk. Let's just make sure that the TV screen here is using the OPA screen. Which, of course, because this is a baked static, that's not going to work. So yeah, I baked this one down. Okay, so let's pull that into the scene. Modeling. It's kind of annoying that I baked this down at this point, because now I need to do this again. UV editor. Selecting triangles. 1, 2. Okay, and then it is there. It's just got a super shiny front layer. Cool. Okay. So now that's also updated. Does this need to be there? Yeah, it kind of does. I'll make it a little bit thinner there. Okay, so that's updated. We're just going to go through each level and just make sure that all of our existing levels are good. Yeah, so all of these single desks, details generate on demand, right? Cleanup generate. again, I've exported it with the... this is the second time I've done this. I've exported it with the modeling tool active, so don't save that level. Asset actions, create PCG, desert desk, save, yes. Save all, go back to our anomaly room, so it'll be anomaly 3. Deep outliner, desks, and then clean and generate. Now, it hasn't got my awesome screen on there though. Details clean, save, reopen, outliner, generate. Why are you not generating with my cool OPA screens, huh? Huh? I mean, maybe that's fair. It's like the only one that's active is this one. It's probably better this way, but I am annoyed that the process didn't work. Okay, anomaly 4. Yeah, we got our OPA screen here. Okay, yeah, so now I love the look. Yeah, so we're back in this level that I was talking about earlier, and yeah, you got the offices of productivity analysis, which is cool. Okay. This nasty old school operating system or something. Okay, so how legible actually is that? You can't crouch, so pretty cool. I'm wondering if I should make these monitors a little more glowy so that glow just emanates across the room a bit. Have a look at doing that. Let's go do the logo, OPA screen. For that, so there was a ceiling grid here, and we had this flat lumen with this checkbox here that goes into our emissive color. So what we can do is we can take this into our emissive color, this into here, take this emissive color, plug this in, use this as the default, paste and apply. Hopefully what I can do is push that into the world more to affect the world a bit more. Yeah. So I can ramp this now and essentially force it to light up the room with that kind of color. Sadly, it's not having a great time computing how that should look. It's like one desk back here that's just like absolutely glowing. It's like, why is it glowing out the back? Yeah, strange that that particular one is glowing out the backside. Although that does kind of look cool. Definitely helps you find it. So one thing I would do is replace the ceiling material. Dark ceiling. Yeah, the limit's not really great here, and it's kind of destroying the vibe. So let's go back. Thanks to Cluedos for showing me that one. Yeah, it's still glowing on the chair, which is neat. I am a fan. That chair is actually in the desk, which of course it is. Yeah, one thing that I don't like about this level is that there's this one desk that you've got to go find. It's always in the same place, essentially. And so what I might do... Oh. I did it as well, I'm there. PCG levels. PCG lit screen disks. Let's just re-export. Well, actually, I don't even need to open the level to do the export. Don't know why I keep opening the level. PCG screen single desk. Sections. PCG lit desk. Sure, that's that level. Okay. Yeah, what I might do is I've already moved that desk out of the way. I'm going to try and... It feels so cool when you're looking at it from above. I'm wondering if I should do some sort of walkway. So these people are on like a platform and you're able to like walk above them. Could always set this to 2 floors. And so you've kind of got these observation walkways. Obviously it's empty now. But back in the day, it's kind of the idea that like supervisors are just walking around, almost like an exam room. But like this is a cooler visual in my head than this. Like if I record a video and I'm just walking down this hallway, like I think of it from like a what's more enjoyable perspective. This is cool. One of the other ideas was to have if I could get you over here. Problem is you can't see the OPA screen. I was going to have an observation deck up here in one of my designs where you're just looking down on like a farm. Lighting wise, I wanted to fade into the distance so you couldn't see the other end. you need some kind of lighting. I guess you know that these are the OPA screens. I've essentially set this asset up so that wherever it goes, it replaces the desk that's there. So I wonder if you'd come into the observation room and you'd look around and you'd be like, oh, there's the... Like maybe it's all the way back here, right? Oh, there's the desk over there. The odd one out. Yeah, here's a problem. If you look in the bottom left view, you can see how much nano overdraw is happening because you can see like at a glancing angle through a lot of the entities. So if you're higher up and you're just looking down, it's fairly good. You always get the overlap of one or two of these over here. That over there is because there's actually a exit over there. But at least the whole screen isn't orange anymore, whereas at this low angle when I'm actually walking through the world, on the bottom left one you can see the overdraw is huge. That's not good. Like all of these are like just barely visible as polygons. Now if you were here, even so, even if you're low, you get all of these overdrawing because they're all part of the same actor. So what your best bet to do is to be up here in an observation deck, looking down over a liminal space that's like, wow, yeah, they're really doing something in there. So let's sort out the roof quickly. That. Okay, let's get an observation deck in here. Is it? Sure. What I'm going to do is clean this, reopen this level, and then rebuild that room. Now it's cached that. God damn. Right, we're just going to leave it there. Okay, so this is where the windows will be, and so I just need a floor. Okay, we'll see. Uh, don't know what's going to happen there, but we'll see in a little bit. One, two, three, 4, 5. gonna be annoying. We're not really on the grid anymore. We are distinctly off the grid. Oh yeah, I forget. I can't put the walls. I can probably fix it. Can't put the walls there because of some of my PCG, but I do have ways to control the PCG, so it should be fine. Generally speaking, something like this. I kind of want it to come in and out the back. And then I'm going to put the rest of the room in, and then we're going to have a couple of chairs here. Did I not bring the other chairs in? I guess not. These will have to do for now. Goes in here. I might lift the ceiling up one more. It just really doesn't have a good time back there. This. Do that. ideal, but we will do it manually because it's only a small scene. Yeah. Looks like early mid 2000s dream hack. Yeah, right. Hacking pixels right now, which is it makes me feel really bad. If I started again, it would be less hacky. That is kind of fine. That's messed up. Oh, it's square. Got this really off-center single light here, and all of these lights are off as well, and the entire platform is off-center. Maybe that's all part of the aesthetic. Maybe it's meant to all be slightly off. No, it's kind of wrong. Let's have a look. Okay. Getting there. It's getting there. I don't know what I've just done, but I love it. It's fixed the lumen. Imagine being down there, like just like the brightest lights. Damn. Okay, cool. So that's cool. Now I just need to make some windows. There is an asset that I have that has a cool window in it. However, to basically cut it up. Have a look at this. So, question is, will this cut up nicely? So let's make a new version. We'll just call this window. Try and planar cut this. Model, plane cut. There, and then plane cut the other way. Xform, edit, bottom. I want to make sure that this is equal to my wall, so let's take this to 0. Okay. I can't see this mesh. Interesting. we're just going to create a box instead. Do this. these separate assets? Okay, well, the only way I know how to fix that. Do it later, it's fine. I'll make a play window, right. Okay, so I'm going to do UE5 modeling tool mode, try selection to new material ID. Edit materials. Attributes category, edit materials. There we go. Define active material, all material instance. Under the mesh attributes in the details panel, find the material section. Add a new array element by clicking the add button. Add glass. Won't work. Edit materials. Why? I want this to be on a separate material ID. Okay, finally, I kind of get it. Yeah. So that should be glass, technically speaking. Meaning that glass is two-sided. Learning. Might have to make it that you can sit down in certain seats in this game. But yeah, that was a bit of a rabbit hole. But the good news is that's now done and out of the way, so we can move on. Oh, forgot that I had the music on really loud this whole time. Is what it is, I guess. This room repeatedly does not receive lights, which I need to look into. Now I'm screwed. I can make the ceilings as nice as I like, but because it's based when the world gets created, depending on how it lays out, it will break. Okay. The lobby lights, let's at least try and fix that. Okay, so loop. I was thinking teleporting back to the main room after you finish the last anomaly. Let's do the effects contains enter. Just in general. Screen entering. I'm gonna do a visual effect change where basically you dive into the monitor to give it that Inception vibe. Gonna do loop recontainments TP to main to lobby, essentially. I don't think I should require the player to back again. Although with the post-it note feature, might not be too bad. My problem is there's no UI that tells you how many screens are left. Unless I do it on the computer screen. Could update the game so that you actually sit at the desk. You were closing the anomaly, you do some interaction on the screen, which is how you discover which symbol related to that room. Usually you'd have your look around, you'd do your stuff, you'd go sit down at the desk, the camera would go down to the computer, you would do some interaction, yeah. And you could put it in a little box containing the anomaly, symbolic, and then I could illustrate that there are 2 unfilled other boxes, and every time you go to a new screen, the boxes are filled, telling you how much containment has been done. And then I would ask the player to walk all the way back, because I've told them at this point how much has been done, but there's no objectives on the screen, right? There's no One of the things that I've been thinking is that one of the back-end story points is going to be that the character you're playing is kind of like reclaiming how do I explain it? They're some sort of expert at anomaly travel, and so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for them to be capable of exiting that elevator anytime they want, such that on the third room, when the box gets closed and you zoom into the screen, you actually open at the elevator, walk forward, and the room or the dungeon is gone, and you go and interact with the PC screen again. The whole concept is that as this expert anomaly containment expert who's traveling around the offices of productivity analysis, then so yeah, I do like that. So UI, teleport desk, minigame, boxes filled, 2 of 3, etc. Loop progress. I don't know why I put a due date on there. 2026. That is a little bit far away. I need that done today. Loop. Gameplay loop. I want to do there. Third. Containment teleports to elevator. Phase 1. Okay. So these sort of 3 elements. Next. UI OPA graphics on screens and menus. I got it on the screens. UI OPA graphics on menus. Do that now, actually. Escape. I guess it's widget BP underscore setting. UI logo. Let's do a quick widget blueprint. Widget underscore logo. Just in case we want to animate this in any way in the future. I'm just going to put it in here like so. Image size, yeah, 1024. So if I go desired here, it's nice. It needs to be wrapped in a scale box so that if this gets put in a corner, it's all good. There needs to be to import the small version as well. Do small, soft, select, it's not small, it's the small OPA core, match size, settings menu, up top here, we have this background blur. Should have an OPA logo. Make sure that that variable is visible. What? Yeah, that's a problem. Can't see the top of the screen, which is reasonable. can't see the top of the screen. It's very, very reasonable. I'm going to increase the size of this to 180. Add this from the top. 40. What's interesting from a narrative perspective is that this escape menu, if I was to be serious about it, is like, it's your escape menu, so it's your character, so it's not OPA. OPA is the place that you are at, not the character that you are. You're not an employee of the OPA. You are a third party who's come to close anomalies. I might need to change that, but that's okay. Get back to that at some point. OPA graphics on menus, sure, I might need to change that. Lobby lights missing. I mean, I don't trust that I fixed it, but because it was just a delay, it's not fixed. It's definitely not fixed. Yeah, and I need to disable the visited rooms. I need to finish that loop up today and get it shipped to and then I need to do loop, combo room, loop, combo room endings, interact notes, and loop item endings. Right, that'll do me for today. I'm going to carry on off cam, where I can concentrate a bit more. I mean, I'm kind of just sitting here noodling around sometimes, which is kind of annoying, but when I do make the... Where's it gone? Right, because I didn't prefix it with the type of thing that it is. When I do the UI for the interaction notes, I'll probably stream that. That's going to be one of those Resident Evil style readable scripts that we'll also need to localize. And actually the localization is not great because it's machine translated, so people are going to probably moan about that. I'm just not going to say that it's localized on the Steam page until I get humans to read back through it. But yeah, this is the content grind, so this gets a little bit flavorless. So, but I have to spend the time doing it because I was going to say, so I might switch my streams up and go back to doing UI UX implementation, small game jam focused things, because those are things that I think you guys enjoy more, and that the industry in general, when they take a look at our stuff, are just interested in. It's more interesting. But also, I need to spend as much time as I can finishing the game. I mean, I'm doing it around the clock. I don't stop until like midnight. There's all these little things, like these paper cuts, that will kill the game if they're not addressed. Just little things, right? Like the sand doesn't make sound, or when you land in the water, yeah, sure, it starts making sound, but it doesn't have a splash. Just like feedback and events that you expect to happen. The more times a player sits there and goes like, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, this, I expected this to happen, I expected that to happen. And the expectations for liminal games are pretty high. Like, the expectations from a person playing like what is ostensibly a walking simulator is that the walking feels really good, which means it's the sound design, the movement of the camera, which I'm also going to have to add a toggle for, and the environments are of good quality. So if I'm not hitting that quality bar there, and I am adding some cool narrative, but narrative, it's not really pushing any boundaries, it's not pushing the envelope. So if you're not making something new, narrative's just narrative, it's not new. Every game has a narrative. If you're not pushing something new, then you better be doing it either equally or better than the other project that does it. If you're like serious about releasing, a game of your own, I think that's a good sort of mantra. Is like, it needs to be as good as, better, or offer something new. Because otherwise, why play? It's like you would just look at budget Death Stranding, and you would just sit there and say, well, it doesn't really add anything new to the genre, it doesn't really do anything new, and it's lower quality than the other really great experience, so maybe I'll just go play the other one. That's my opinion anyway. I mean, we're getting into the age where story is the only major difference, that and art direction. So like, yeah, if you're not hitting the expectations, it's just not going to be a success anyway. So yeah, there's loads of little what I call paper cuts, and you just die by those paper cuts. We did some cool stuff back on Starship Troopers. We had a good sprint or sprint or two, where we were able to just like take the gloves off, and we just went ham on tweaking all the little values and just making things like just right. And it came out to early access and got a lot of hype, and then obviously Starship Troopers is wherever it is now. But it's those paper cuts that we got rid of as we moved towards early access that I think I had a large hand in pushing to fix, as well as just working with the lead designer at the time, who was really great, and a programmer. We just ground through it. So that's what I've been doing lately, and also now just content grind on the levels. So that's pretty cool too. I mean, today was a modification of an existing level that I wasn't happy with, and now I've got some windows. I've learned a little bit more about how to control the modeling tools. So when I want to create, like a lot of this liminal stuff, I can just create it in Engine myself. I don't really need to go. And now that I can model, unwrap, set up multiple material channels in Engine for like basic geometry, which is what a lot of these offices are, I can make a lot more interesting office spaces. Any stuff I'm not going to be able to create is like quickly, at least it's like computer monitors and chairs and more organic shapes. That sort of thing I would want. Yeah, like I used to use 3ds Max, but you'd want a proper modeling software for that stuff. And even then I would, we're getting towards the age where unless you've got something really bespoke that you want to create for a chair, I would just be like, generate some chair images and pick the one that I like and be like, that's the kind of executive chair I want, and I put it into a program, because there's nothing creative about modeling a chair. Getting the right chair, art directing to the right chair, like that's important. The chair that tells the story, right? The setting, it gives you it evokes a thought or a feeling. When you look at the chair, you're like, this is an executive chair, this is a director's chair, as opposed to like, this is a fold up chair, right? This is like a stool. And they tell different stories, but like modeling it, like there's thousands of chairs have been modeled over the industry's years. Like, I'm pretty sure no artist is sitting there in their job going like, man, I can't wait to go into work tomorrow and model another chair, or model a wall, or make a brick texture. And they go online and they look at a brick texture and they create just another brick texture, and they post it on ArtStation, and they're like, look, my brick texture is better than the old brick texture. And that's advancement. That's technical art. That's like, that has value. It's like new methods, new workflows. I think we're just going to get to the stage where, outside of those kind of moments of like, look at the cool thing I did with the shaders, and look at the cool workflows I did to get to a really accurate result by hand really fast. Substance Designer, for example, is a great example of that. That's really good. But you'll get to the point where it's like, yeah, I don't want to model the chair, I don't want to model the table, I don't want to make the brick texture, or I'll have different workflows that elevate the artist to be. The way I see it is that artists will become world creators in that regard. Artists who do level work, and in sort of the thought train that I'm going down now. Point being, if I was a betting man and I didn't have a little bit of hesitation to start using those tools, I would be creating my chairs in AI right now. But it is still early days for those tools, and it isn't going away, but it's also not effective enough at the job yet. But one day, when that day comes, we'll make hundreds of rooms. In fact, we should be at the stage where I'll be able to, one day, make the... That's the joke about the game, anyway. The joke about the game is that AI is just going to make all these rooms. AI is just going to do all the jobs, sorry. Productivity analysis company went down the pan when AGI got invented. Anyway, looking at a black screen for long enough, I'm going to jump off. I have been Ren, technical designer at UX is Fine. Go check out talentisfine.com if you're interested in keeping in the loop for when we're looking for people to work with. And if you are interested in following up with the LinkedIn posts and other things that we share, that's UX is Fine on LinkedIn. Soon I'm going to create a new Discord channel, a new itch.io channel, maybe a Gumroad, probably a Gumroad, and start putting up more project files onto those. So that'll be cool. I say soon. At minimum after the 16th, maximum we're looking at September, October, yeah. Also my birthday this month, so it's gonna be a stressful one trying to ship a game. I'm gonna go get lunch. I may or may not be back on stream for the second half of the day. I find it quite distracting and I just have a lot to do. So more than likely what I'll do is I'll come back on stream and be like, this is what I created off cam. And then on stream I do all the monotonous rubbish, which is funny. I just need to be able to concentrate at this stage in the game. Anyway, that was day 12. It's not much, but it's honest work. I would say like just don't have a 0 day. I just spent like 3 or 4 hours, 2.5 hours, I suppose. I was in some meetings this morning, so I am a little bit short. I suppose if I had my full allotted morning, I'd be feeling better because I would have finished all of those kind of like tweaks and polish moments, and then I would have had a good 2 hours to create 1 or 2 new rooms or move through this UI portion and do that for the 2 hours. But those 2 hours are going to happen later. Yeah. It's a journey. It's a journey. We'll see you guys next time. Definitely be on tomorrow morning, 9 AM PST. 9 AM PST. I was late this morning anyway, so don't believe me. Alright, see you later.